How's it going, everybody? In today's video, I want to talk about your initial meeting with a client. So whether you are a home builder and you're kind of doing your own sales, you're meeting with somebody for the first time, or you're a new home sales agent that's selling new construction homes for a builder, the same rules are going to apply here. The reason I'm making this video is because I just had an initial meeting with a client a couple days ago, and it got me thinking and kind of gave me the idea to make this video. So I'm just gonna kind of share the background with that. So I met with a couple earlier this week. So we had our initial meeting, and after I got done with the meeting, or not actually, as I was about halfway through the meeting, I determined, because of what Mrs. Client said, that this meeting was just for them to get an idea of what the building process was, what the timeline was, how a construction loan worked, just the basics. So they wanted to get some information, but they weren't ready to, dive into, what type of floor plan and even, really pricing yet at that point. And I know this because that's what she said when we were halfway through the meeting. And the reason that topic came up is because when I meet with somebody, when anybody meets with somebody for the first time, you're meeting with that client to basically help them out, right? They want to learn about the process. They want to get some general information about you, the builder, so on and so forth. So you're gonna provide that information. Well, you also need to have a goal for what you want to achieve at that meeting. And this isn't slimy in any way at all. In fact, this is something that is going to ultimately benefit the client, because it's going to speed up the process, or it's going to ensure that they build with you. And if you truly believe that you are the builder for them and that you're going to offer them the best building process, and you really want the sale and it's going to be good for them, then it's good to persuade and convince them that you are the person for them. So, and when I say having a goal for yourself, I don't just, I'm not talking about, they're asking questions and you're just giving short answers because you've got your own agenda. You've got your own list of questions that you want to find out. You're going to investigate them and get all the information that you need so that you're able to move them to the next step. And yes, you are going to do that. You are going to investigate them. You are going to softly interrogate them. And that's not the correct, that just popped into my head. I know that's not the correct term, because that's not what it's like at all. If you're good at sales, and you will be over time if you're just starting off, whether you're the builder meeting with clients or you're a salesperson, you'll learn and should learn different techniques on how to properly ask questions and get the information that you need. So, first and foremost, all right, I'm just going to jump in real quick here and talk about the consulting service that I offer. So this is going to be an ongoing monthly 1 hour or 2 half-hour phone calls in a month. And really, in a 1 hour phone call, you can come with any and all questions that you have, and we'll be able to answer any and all of those questions. Plus, I will also have insight on things that I think would benefit you that I can offer you as well, as far as advice and things to do. So it's not just going to be me answering questions. I will also have good, valuable information, things that you haven't thought about yet. So this is an ongoing monthly payment for an ongoing monthly service. If you're interested in something like this, whether you're selling new construction, you're going to start building that new spec home, you want to become a legit home builder, you can email me, jason@josephscotthomes.com. I'll put that info in my details for the video below. You do want to make sure that you are answering all their questions and that you are providing them all of the information that they need. Because if you get done with this meeting and you got all the information that you need in order to move them to the next step, you've got all the information that you need as far as you think what floor plan will work, you can kind of give them some ballpark pricing, and then that in turn, if you get that over to them, should bring them to the next step of, okay, you know, let's move forward with getting a preliminary plan going. But if you aren't answering the questions, if you don't seem genuine or interested or concerned or empathetic about the questions that they have for you, they're not going to get a good feel from you. So even though you got all of the information that you needed, they may just not like you. You know, after the meeting, they may feel that, yeah, you know, you answered their questions, you've got a good sense of what they need, but they just didn't click with you, and that is part of it as well. You know, that's a big part of sales, is the bonding. You know, the bonding type, developing rapport with the client. So you want to make sure, first and foremost, you're answering those questions for them. You're empathetic to their needs, and you are explaining to them how you will be able to suit their needs when they have questions, getting into detail with things. Now, you'll notice that, you know, the client is of course, they're going to have initial questions. Maybe they're written down, but there's going to be pauses in between questions, or they're simply going to get to a point where they don't have any more questions. And that's when you know, in between those pauses and when they're out of questions, that's when you can really focus on getting the information that you need. So now, you know, at this point, the meeting is going well. And for me, I do this throughout the meeting. So the way that I achieve my goal without them feeling like I'm, you know, interrogating them or just getting the information that I need from them. So I've got a checklist, a pricing worksheet that I use to put pricing together. I bring that to the meeting because that allows me to, and I've got everything in order on this checklist, from foundation to framing. You know, framing would be like if they're going to add extra square feet, it would go in that section. Windows and doors, you know, if they're adding additional windows or doors to the home, it would go in that section. So I've got a section for every single part of the house. So that way, when I meet with somebody, I can kind of follow that list and, you know, make sure that I'm getting all of the information that I need so that I can put pricing together for them. You know, the first section on my list is foundation. And I want to know throughout the course of our conversation, and maybe this is just something that they bring up on their own, and then that's where I'll kind of fill in the notes there. But here in Wisconsin, we do basements. So we do have, I would say, about 30-40% of the people we build for, they go from an 8-foot tall basement. That would be the standard. It's an 8-inch thick wall by 8-foot tall poured wall. And then they will upgrade that to a 9-foot tall basement, and then we actually pour that 2 inches thicker as well. So if that's something that they're going to be doing, I want to make sure that I note that, because that's going to be a price difference for that. So I'm going to put that note in the foundations portion of it. If they have we're talking and we determine that they have a walkout lot or some type of exposure on their lot, that's also where I'm going to note that as well. Or if it's a flat lot and they want an egress window, I'm going to note that in there as well. And once, you know, because sometimes when you're meeting with people, they will, you know, come out and say, okay, do you have any questions for me? Or they're ready to basically give you all of the information that you need in order to move things forward to the next step. But in this particular case, we're talking about a client that has just come in for an initial meeting to, you know, kind of be educated on the process. So either way, you're going to have this printout, or I have this printout. So I know that, you know, I want to make it all the way through there, and I want to determine if I go through every section, then I know that I'm ready to put some pricing together because I've covered every section of the house. It wasn't just a random, you know, we got to talking about things. I took some notes about what they wanted to do, but we never talked about the basement. So now I don't really know, you know, do they want an egress window? Do they want a 9-foot tall basement? I don't know, because we didn't talk about that. And just because they didn't bring it up doesn't mean that it's not something that they want. there's a ton of information going back and forth in this initial meeting and in any of the meetings, really. So they have may just, forgotten about that, and that might be what it is. So I come to the meeting with that. So I've got my checklist of things that in it, and for you, it doesn't have to be that. It could be anything that you want to achieve from that meeting. You may have, along with that pricing sheet, I want to know what their timeline is. Do they have a lot? Do they want us to help them find a lot? Like I said before, the timeline, when do you want to start? I'd like to know if somebody is looking to start next year, 2 years from now, or they're ready to go right now. So have you spoken with the lender? Do you know what approximate pricing is going to be? Those are the types of things that I want to find out, because that's just going to help me help them quicker through the process. So the other thing that I'm going to bring to the meeting is I'm going to print out a few different floor plans. And if I've talked to, some of these clients, I will vet and talk to on the phone, because a lot of times I won't do an initial meeting with somebody unless I've spoken with them on the phone. And I've already probably given them some type of I've probably already asked them some of these questions. But sometimes the meetings can happen where sometimes somebody requests a meeting and I just want to learn more about the process, get familiar with things. Okay, let's do it. At the time that you're scheduling the meeting, maybe you're in a super ambitious mood and you're just looking to grasp at everything that you possibly can. But if you have, kind of vetted them over the phone and gotten some information from them, and that they truly are a candidate to build a home, and it is within their budget, then you do have some of these questions answered. And then also the other thing that you're going to know is the type of home. So before the client comes in, if I've talked to them on the phone, I'm going to print out several different floor plans that kind of align with what they were telling me they want. So if we were on the phone and they were telling me that they want a 4-bedroom ranch with 2.5 bathrooms, a really big living room and kitchen, I'm gonna have probably 4 different ranch plans that I'm gonna print out. Now, for whatever reason, the most popular style home that we build is a ranch home. We probably, if we're gonna build 20 homes in a year, maybe 2-3 of those are 2 stories, the rest are ranches. So even if I take an initial meeting and they are, like I had one last night actually, and I didn't really know what type of home they were looking for. It was just an exploratory meeting for them. But I took our most popular plans. So we have like 3 ranch plans that we seem to build the most of. And we're a custom builder, so we customize off of that. But I feel like these 3 plans have a really good heart, it's a really good starting point. The kitchen, living room, eating area, that heart of the home is definitely something that is easy to work off of. Even if they don't like certain features of the plan, it's easy to change different things with it. So I will have those printed out, and and I'm not going to hand them out in the beginning. I don't like giving the customer things at the meeting, because then if I'm talking, or I just feel like it kind of distracts them. As if I take 3-4 floor plans and I lay them all out in front of them, I mean they're just going to be looking at these different floor plans the whole time, and they're not really going to be able to focus on what we need to focus on at that point. But what I'll do is I'll have these 4 floor plans, these 3 floor plans. I'll kind of have them underneath the stack of my pricing sheet notes where I'm making notes. And as I start to ask questions about, again, this is an exploratory meeting, so this is where I'm going to start to ask questions about the type of home. Or hey, number one, have you seen any floor plans that you like? Do you have any type of idea? Have you seen any on our website? And then a lot of times they're going to have a yes for that. So like last night's meeting, yes, they liked our Alexis plan, but there were some things that they wanted to do different. The Alexis is a 4-bedroom ranch plan. They only needed 3 bedrooms, and that's easy enough for us to figure out. But so I asked that initial question. Now I pull out the Alexis flyer, and I always print 3 of them, so that there's one for the husband, the wife, and myself. And the one that I have is one that I can make notes on, because in order to move them to the next step from where they are right now to me being able to put pricing together for them, I need to have my notes that I'm making on my pricing sheet, my checklist. And then I need to have my notes from the floor plan, because there's going to be certain notes on the floor plan that I just jot down, like, arrows, blow this wall out by 2 feet. And then I know we're going to be adding a certain amount of square footage to the home. And then that ultimately gets brought into the pricing sheet. So they say the Alexis, all right, I've got my Alexis floor plan right here. And I hand them each one, I take one. And then, okay, is there anything with this plan that didn't work for you, or you wanted to be different? They're going to start talking about, okay, I actually wanted to move the staircase here. We don't need this 4th bedroom. So now I'm making my notes that I need to make on my, floor plan flyer, so that ultimately, I can put the pricing together. And then it also kind of creates and moves them ahead through 2 steps, because the first step after this initial meeting is to get them pricing. And then if they're good with the pricing, then my next step for them would be, okay, if you're good with the pricing, now we can move forward with getting a preliminary plan drawn up. And I've already got all my notes. We don't have to meet again. This is something that's going to save time for myself and the client. Because when you are building houses, when you're selling houses, you only have so many hours in the day. So your success is going to be based upon how much you can get done in a day. And if you can eliminate 1, 2 additional meetings, meetings are 2 hours a piece. So if you can just have that initial meeting and then get to the point where you're sending them pricing, they're good with the pricing, and they're ready to then do the preliminary plan, it's like you've already bypassed 2 meetings there. And of course, you're still going to meet to go over the pricing and the preliminary plan, but you can do that in 1 meeting as opposed to having 2 additional ones before that. So basically what I'm saying here is you want to be prepared for the meeting. So they're going to have the agenda of things that they want to cover and they want to learn. And then you should also have your own. So going back to this meeting that I had earlier in the week that sparked this whole thing, she kind of came out and said, as we were kind of at the point where, and again, funny enough, this was the Alexis floor plan. Now, when they came in and I asked them, if they had any floor plans or anything like that. They didn't necessarily have anything. They hadn't really looked at anything, but from what they were telling me that they wanted in the house, I determined that the Alexis floor plan was a good starting point. So again, I did the same thing at that point in the meeting. I pulled out 3 of them. I put 1 in front of the husband, 1 in front of the wife, and then I had 1, and then we did the same thing. Okay, what in here doesn't work for you? What do you like about the house? Is there anything that you would change about the house? And then we spent, probably 20 minutes on the floor plan. I've got enough floor plan notes to put together the preliminary plan, and then I'm going to be heading into the office right now to put pricing together for them. But while we're doing this, she kind of, laughed and said, "Oh man, I wasn't expecting to do all this before I came in here. I had no idea about the floor plan, and now here we are with a floor plan." And and she was still kind of apprehensive about, things moved pretty quick there. And with the experience that I have, I feel like I'm able to to move things quick and identify. I was able to identify the plan that was going to work best as a starting point. Now the husband, he was all for it. He's like, she was apprehensive, and she's like, well, I don't know for sure if this is going to be the one. Yet it met all of the needs that we had talked about, and anything that it did not meet, I had made notes on there and showed her how it was going to work on there. So really, there's no reason to even look for any more floor plans unless it's just about, boy, this happened so quick, and I guess I just need to I want to look at some other things first before we move ahead with a plan here. Now the husband was like, this is gold. This is gold. Let's just move ahead and let's move ahead with this one. Why even spend time thinking about other floor plans? If you already had, if you're the client and you had a vision in your head of what you wanted, and then you went to a meeting and you were presented with a home that had a lot of that, and then the sales representative was able to, you know, white some things out, mark some things up, and show you how the things that didn't work on that plan will now work. Well, okay, I mean, what more do you really need? And most people are good with that. And I think that most people would rather not look through 1,000 floor plans if they see something that they like and the plan suits all of their needs. Most people are ready to move forward with that. But there are some people that they just, well, I don't know, that seemed a little bit too easy. I need to continue looking, and, you know, so on and so forth. So, and that's fine too. You know, it doesn't have to be the plan that we put together, but now at least I'm able to put together the ballpark pricing. I'll send that over to them, and I'll kind of get that commitment that, yes, you know, pricing is good. Now we can really, let's have another meeting here to, I guess, ensure that this is the floor plan. Or maybe if, maybe she found something online between now and then, she's going to bring that in. And it's probably going to be very similar to the Alexis, because all of the things that you know, she had in her head for what she wanted in a home are in both, you know, in both houses. But ultimately, either way, you know, we'll have that next meeting so that we can move forward with the preliminary plan. So that's what I wanted to get across, is just, you know, have your own goals for the meeting to make sure that you're able to, you know, in this case, eliminate 1 or 2 meetings. This is just going to move the process along quicker, and that's better for you and the client. So make sure you've got yourself prepared as far as everything that you want to ask and find out to be able to move them forward. All right, that's all I got for this video. I feel like this one was definitely one that if you're just starting off and you're just going to be kind of meeting with initial clients, or you're kind of new to this, or even if you're not and you weren't doing this before, I feel like this is gold. This is gold, baby. I feel like this is something that can save you time and ultimately make you more of an income, because if you know, the more homes that you're able to help people build within, you know, a year, the more income that you're going to create. So the less meetings that you have, or the quicker the meetings are, or the faster you move somebody through the build process without rushing. I'm not saying rush and speed through things. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that if you're efficient and you can still be detailed, efficient, and thorough, and know exactly what they want without rushing. But if you can do that, you're going to make more of an income. So that's why I feel like this one was really good. If you've got anybody that is starting off in this industry, whether you're going to start to build a spec house, you're you know, already built the spec house, now you're going to meet with a client to possibly build them a house, you're just starting in the new home sales industry, please share this video with somebody like that. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already, and that's going to do it for this video. Take care, and God bless. Have a great rest of the day.